Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Anthony with Anthony's Horror and More, and we're gonna talk about the Black Phone. Yeah, so I just got done watching this a couple days ago for the first time. I kind of wanted to wait for the hype to die down on this movie because it was really high, and I hate going into movies with like these super high expectations. So I passed on this one, and then even when it came to physical media, it was like $25 when it first came out, so I passed on it even then. Um, and then it finally went down to $18, and I'm like, okay, that's a fair price, I think, for this release. For a Blu-ray and everything. I'm like, okay, that's fair. So I bought it for $18, and then still waited a few days, and then finally watched it. And I gotta say, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. Did it live up to that hype level? I think because I let my expectations lower down and stuff. Yeah, I was very happy with it. Yeah, I mean, it was just nice to be like kind of transported back into like the 70s type era. And I thought, Scott Derrickson did such a good job directing this. Just the look of it and everything. It really did. It kind of had that, like, I don't know, it just had that hue, like that kind of 70s hue about it. And they were all dressed like it was the 70s and stuff like that too, I believe. It was either the 70s or maybe the early 80s, but I think this took place in the 70s. I'm not sure if they actually say at any point, if it says on the screen or anything like that, but they were talking about like the Brady Bunch and stuff like that. So I feel like this was probably around the 70s, just with the clothes and everything. I mean, look at the way, what she's wearing, what he's wearing, and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure those were like popular in the 70s. So yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was very well directed. I liked the aesthetic of it. It looked good. It definitely transported me back there. You know what I mean? I know it's really a popular thing now to go back to like the 80s and stuff and all that kind of, with Stranger Things and like all these shows and movies, they all want to capture that magic of the 80s. And I thought this did a good job capturing, I believe it was the 70s, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was the 70s. And yeah, and I thought Ethan Hawke did a great job as the grabber, even though he's not in it as much as I would like. But I thought he did a really good job, the kids did a phenomenal job, both the actresses, or I mean, both the actor and the actor, both the actors. The little girl and the little boy, they both did like a fantastic job. That's what really got me, was because like it's hard to find like good kid actors and stuff, especially when they like everything's on like their shoulders. Because like I said, like Ethan Hawke, like the grabber's not in it that much, so you really are following the boy and the girl. And let me give him a shout out here. Yeah, Mason Thames plays Finney, the guy, and Madeline McGraw plays the girl, Gwen. So I don't think I've seen them in anything else, but they both did a phenomenal job. And their dad, actually, Jeremy Davies, I've seen him in other stuff. He did a really good job too. I know a lot of people were uncomfortable. There's like a scene where, mild spoilers. I mean, it's not really. I mean, I don't know. Everybody talked about it, but it's, where the dad, hits his daughter with the belt and all that stuff. And that was pretty common back then. I mean, not everybody hit their kids or whatever. I don't want to make it sound like that, but that was more common back in those times. And, yeah, I mean, he's obviously, an alcoholic and stuff like that. But I think he was honestly just, because a lot of people are like, what a piece of shit, an evil man or whatever, hitting his, it's like, I don't think he was evil. I think he just was really scared because he didn't want his daughter, because she has like these visions and stuff. I don't think he wanted her to get taken away by the authorities or thrown in a loony bin, or he doesn't want what happened, mild spoilers again, but what happened with her mother to happen to her, you know. I mean, you know, because, you know, in the movie, they don't show it, but you know, he says that the mother killed herself, and, you know, because she was hearing all these thoughts and all this stuff, and you know, he doesn't want that to happen for his daughter. So I get it, you know, I get, like, he, you know, he's scared, you know what I mean. But you can tell, like, it's kind of weird because this movie, it kind of reminded me of It, you know, like, you know, Pennywise and all that. It really did, because it felt so much like, so there were 5 kids that had been grabbed prior to Finney being grabbed. And they were grabbed and they were killed. And it just seems like, if this is all happening, and this is all happening in the same town, at the same school, you know, you would think parents would be on full lockdown and stuff. Like, you would think that parents wouldn't even want their kids to go to school anymore. Or, you know, like, there's no, like, if I heard about that, I wouldn't be sending my kid to school. Like, if there were 5 kids that were fucking kidnapped and then never found again or whatever at that school, I'd never send my fucking kids back to that school. There's no way. So that part's a little, because, you know, even when Finney gets grabbed, it's like, I don't know, it just, you know, they have the search party come out and they're looking for him, but then it just feels like everybody kind of gives up. Even the dad gives up, basically. It's like, I don't know, that felt a little too unrealistic to me. I'm like, any parent would be out there fucking scouring the world trying to find their kid. It wouldn't be like a couple days goes by and, oh well, we tried. Same thing with the cops. The cops felt very incompetent. Like, I mean, they really did. They felt pretty useless in this movie. I'm like, Jesus, you guys are the worst fucking detectives in the world. I mean, goddamn, it's like, it's the same kids in the same school in the same area, and you still can't fucking find anything. Like, I mean, come on, man. Why don't you, every time the grabber grabs a kid or whatever, there's always these black balloons left behind. So why wouldn't you just go check local stores that have sold black balloons to people lately? I don't think buying black balloons is a common thing. Most people, when they buy balloons, it's like red, blue, yellow, green, like birthday colors. They're not buying black balloons. So why don't you just go check the local stores in the area and see who's purchasing black balloons, and then trace that and go, like, knock on their doors and, you know, see what's going on. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be the world's greatest detective to figure that out. I mean, so that kind of stuff bugged me a little bit. It kind of took me out of it, because it's just like, oh my God. Because I just don't feel like it's realistic for parents to act that way. And the cops are just, like, pretty much useless in this story. But Scott Derrickson did, like I said before, did a great job directing. You know, he's already directed a number of horror movies. He directed Sinister. He directed Hellraiser Inferno. He directed The Exorcism of Emily Rose. So he's already directed quite a few horror films, and he even directed the first Doctor Strange movie, which is fantasy with a little bit of horror and stuff in there, but yeah, he did a really good job. It just looked very well. I mean, it just, you know, he really captured that era, that 70s, 80s, wherever it was taking place. He really captured that whole feel. You know, maybe it was the early 80s. I don't know, because there was some music in there that felt like it was from the 80s, now that I think about it. There were a couple song choices that I think were more from the 80s, so maybe it was the 80s. But either way, it looked great. It really did. And the acting was all great. The story was good. It had that supernatural aspect to it, which was fun. I liked it. Some people said that they didn't like the supernatural aspect, which I found interesting, because if you don't have the supernatural aspect where Finney is, and I'm going to kind of spoil this a bit, guys, this movie's been out long enough where I think most people should have seen, but, should have seen it by now. But Finney's talking to the other dead kids on the phone, and, they're helping him figure out what's going on. If you don't have that aspect of the movie, then it really needs to turn into like a detective story where you're just focusing on the detectives in the movie. Like, otherwise, you know what I mean? Like, it just turns into like your basic detective story if you don't have that supernatural aspect, because Finney's stuck down in the basement. So what else is he gonna do if he's not talking to the dead kids, you know? And then if his sister doesn't have her power to, like, you know, see where he's at and try to figure the whole thing out, then she's useless too. So then you might as well just make it a detective, like, mystery type movie at that point. So you kind of need the supernatural element. And that's what makes this movie different from other movies as well, is that it ties in. It's got the mystery, it's got the supernatural, it's got some horror, it's got a lot of that stuff. So Tom Savini did an excellent job creating the masks for the grabber. All the masks look good. Yeah, I thought he did a really good job with that. And I like how, like, the mask that he wore could, like, break apart into, like, 2 different, like, pieces and stuff like that. You know, you could just have, like, the bottom half on or the top half on. And one was, like, there were different masks as well. Like, there was, like, you know, there was, like, the frowny face when he was, like, gonna be in a bad mood. And then there was the smiling one, you know, when he was more in a playful mood. And yeah, Ethan Hawke's, you know, performance for when he's in it is very good. Yeah, very, you know, very menacing for sure. And the movie's not too long. It was like 1 hour and 40 minutes, I believe. It does have some bonus features. Yeah, deleted scenes. Shadow Prowler, a short film by Scott Derrickson. That's kind of cool. A feature commentary, which I always like a good commentary. Ethan Hawke's Evil Turn, and more. So you do get some good special features as well, which is always nice. Special features right there. So that's cool. Yeah, and then you just got the same artwork right there. Black Phone. And then, we got that discard right there. And yeah, it looks pretty good. So yeah, overall thoughts, I would probably give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. I really liked it. I would definitely go back and rewatch it again. It looked really good, you know, and just I was very happy with it. Yeah, I'm glad I waited because I kind of let that hype die down a bit. But overall, really great film. So yeah, this is Anthony's Horror and More. Go check out Black Phone. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the Black Phone. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.